So we are today fitting just a nice set of MCA coilovers. These are the Street Essentials, which are like the second series of the MCAs. So I'm going to be fitting them. These are actually S13 coilovers. So although my car is a Corona, we're actually fitting S13 coilovers because the front end in that car is already set up for S13 coilovers. So MCA, if I show you their little brochure, the ones I've actually got are the Essentials, which are pretty much just a little bit more comfortable on the street compared to their base ones, which is the blue series. So I was going to get the blue, ended up going the Street Essentials in the black edition, so that's why they're completely black, there's no green on them. So in the packaging we get a sticker, you get some tools for adjusting them. I actually got a set of those already, but that's cool that they come with that. A folder, I think I had that piece of paper in it. That's just how much you pay for additional extras and stuff like that. Stealth option, it said it was $50 dearer to go the black. So I'll pull one out. But there's our coil over there. Taken my center guard measurements, so I know what that is, and from the guard to the top of the rim. Now this is mainly why I want to raise it. As you see here, I've got a ultra low jack, and I still have to actually put the car on about 18mm MDF to actually get the jack underneath the car to get it up. So if I can raise it about 10mm, I'm hoping I won't have to do that anymore, because that's a pain in the ass. And here is our coilovers out. So very different coilovers. These are actually pre-set up for an S13. These are obviously just as they were in my car. Now all I have adjusted on these, I never actually adjusted the spring at all here. I only ever wound it out a bit from about where that line is to make it a bit taller. I'm no suspension expert, but anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to bolt these in as they are and just go from there. Obviously if it's wrong, then we can adjust the height on those. And the one big thing I may notice on these is that the tops on these are actually rotated. Normally these will actually run this way, so your camber will adjust in and out and just literally adjust the wheel whether you want to camber it. Now the reason they have been adjusted by this, because I've actually still got the blurb when I wrote the car, the guy had written it down, is so that it will allow more lock on the wheels. So pretty much if the top of it was angled the other way, it'll actually stop the lower control arm, will actually stop lock. So I actually get more lock on the wheels this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinstall the new ones in the same position as these, because it has worked for me, and your car is set up quite well. It's always drifted quite well, so I may as well put them in the same way. Worst case, I rotate them if I want to, but I'm going to do what this guy's done, because it has worked over the 7 years I've had the car, and I don't want to lose any of the drift elements of the car. It's always been really good. So that's where I've got it right now, all the way back, and if I push it up, it'll go like that. Now what it's doing is it's straightening it out. If you have a look, it's almost straight down now. If I go like that, it moves the whole shock back. Now by moving it back, in my understanding, is that now it will allow for more camber. More lock. So because the spring, it's not sitting here, it's only got this. Now that it's back here, it can actually do some real stupid lock. Now being a drift car, which it still technically is, that's a good thing. I just wanted to show you though, this is the main reason why I'm replacing them, is see that movement, which you can hear? That is horrific when you're driving. See, this is far too loose. I mean, they're supposed to move, but as I said, pushing up from the bottom, I can actually move it. And that should not be moving up and down. Obviously the spring should be moving. That's not the spring, that's the actual mount. So because of that, it's horrific when you're driving. And yes, I've tightened up everything I could, and there's nothing you can do about it. New coilovers are all bolted in, both sides. They're all adjusted on the top side to be kind of how they were. As you can see in here, these actually have a nice little holder off the side of them that holds your brake line, whereas the other ones, it was literally zip tied on. So that's pretty nice. And they're just in there as they were, dead stock. Haven't adjusted them as far as from MCA's adjustments for an S13. So we're going to put the wheels back on right now, drop the car down, and I guess we'll see how it looks. Right, so I've just lowered it down now. As you can see, we have some healthy camber still, but not too much camber. Yeah, that actually looks really good. Unfortunately though, I can't get my jack out. So I had put them on the pieces of wood to get the car up. So obviously if I can't get the jack out now when I could before, the car's sitting even lower than it was. We have adjusted the bottom mount 30 millimeters, which is quite a lot. So what I've done is I've wound that up, so that thread you see is now 30 millimeters more than it was. So that's quite a lot from factory, obviously. Now, MCA recommend you don't bottom mount adjust. Again, I'm assuming that is for when you're actually fitting these to a Silvia. Reason being is, on this, if I was to actually adjust 30 mil, we'd be getting around, we'd be above where that seat is for the bottom of the spring. That's about 30 millimeters, so meaning there'd probably only be around a centimeter, 15 millimeters at most left of thread on the actual top there, and I would by far be compressing the spring. So that wasn't going to do it. I didn't want to compress the spring. Obviously that's going to make it even bumpier, and the whole point of fitting these is try and soften the ride on this thing yet still have it handle good. So we've bottom mount adjusted 30 mil. Obviously this is not an S13, so I'm going to do things differently. Alright guys, I just took the car out for a drive in the wet, and it is so much better. It's not really something I can show you on camera, obviously. I'm me by myself filming, and I don't have a track or anywhere to set up a tripod, so nearby at all. But just take my word for it, it's a lot better. So I have raised it in the front about 8 mil measuring, so it was 9 centimeters from guard to here, now it's about 9.8, which has made a good difference. I didn't want to actually raise it much, but it's enough to notice. Camber wise, we've still got camber. I reckon it's a tiny bit less camber than we had before. So maybe not as obvious as it was, which is a good thing. Because I did actually get pulled over a few weeks back and told I had too much camber on the front wheels. So I think I have actually made that a bit better. And then ride quality is just 10 times better. There's no more clunk from the left. There's no more bounce every time I hit a bump. Anything small bumps wise, it's actually gliding over now. When you hit a big bump, you still feel it obviously, because I mean it's still low, but all those little bumps, it's just knocked smooth compared to how it was. So definitely worth the money. I'm happy. Anyway, we're going to play around with it for now. Just going to leave it like this for a while and let it settle in, do all that stuff, and then maybe I'll start adjusting the dampening or anything if I feel like it. But at the moment it feels pretty good, so at the moment I'm not unhappy with it. So compared to how it was, it couldn't feel worse. So anyway, that'll be it for now. I just put some coilovers in. Just thought I'd show you that I did that.